Hello, good evening. Welcome to Sunday Live Discussion Session with me, Antara. I'm really happy to announce that tonight our guest is author Manali Desai, who is very dear to me and very dear to my secret bookshelf. Manali is a freelance writer. She contributes regularly to various national as well as international blogs and online magazines. She is a blogger. In fact, she has her own blog called A Rustic Mind. And so far, she has published 4 books. And in addition to those 4 books, she has also co authored 2 books. Tonight, I'm going to talk more about one of her books, The Art of Being Grateful and Other Stories. This little book is a collection of 8 stories, 8 short stories from various genres, humor, horror, romance, mystery, thriller, and much more. So, without wasting further time, let me send out Manali a request to join me, join the session, and then we'll together continue the discussion. So, hold on for a second. I'm sending a request to Manali to join me now. Gentlemen, Manali Desai is joining me now. We'll continue the discussion together. And thanks for joining. Thanks for joining in tonight. Hi, Manali.
Hey, hi, Andra. Good evening.
Good
I
evening.
don't
It's good
think I can
morning.
say good night yet, so I'll just stick to good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so there's Manali taking a moment with her technical connection. So we lost you for a few moments, and
Is
and
it
I was
okay
saying
now?
that it's good. Yes, yes, it's perfectly fine. It's morning for you. Good morning for you.
No, it's actually evening. It's 5:30
Okay,
here. 5:30 in the evening.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a good time. It's not a very like it's convenient the
Yes.
time, I
Yes.
suppose.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Manali, for joining me. And I'm so glad that, as I said in my introduction, that you are very close to me as well as close to my secret bookshelf. So I'm really happy to have you tonight with me. So tell me, Manali, what made you write this book, The Art of Being Grateful and Other Stories? What was that?
So, Andra, I have been writing short stories since a few years now, and
Okay.
let me in you on a little secret about the books that are a part of this book. More than 50% of the stories in this book have been rejected by one or other publication, but not only in India but across the world. I have sent these stories to many publications
Wow.
across the world, and some didn't fit with their criteria. Some said they don't
Hmm.
publish such stories. One or the other reason was there for these stories to form a pile in my manuscripts, and
Oh,
I
okay.
yeah, I thought they deserve to be read.
Hmm.
I never stopped believing them.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
thought, why not bring them all together in a collection and self-publish them, which would
Hmm.
So the thing about me is I never believe that something which is written is not worthy to be read. It just needs polishing, which is what I believe, and that's how
Hmm.
during the lockdown, when I had a certain amount of time at hand on my hands. I was not working 24/7. I had free time
Hmm.
and I was a little relaxed mentally. So I thought, why not? And people will also get a chance to read. We were also at home.
Hmm.
So that the book came out during the first lockdown in India in July
Hmm.
2020.
Hmm.
So it was a good
Right.
time.
So when so this book has 8 short stories. So like you had these 8 stories with you, or there were more, and then you cut few, you streamlined, and then you selected 8 out of the entire collection.
So I had about four to five stories with me. The
Hmm.
oldest story in this book, which I wrote about 4 years back, I think. Yeah, so that was the oldest story. And since then, I had, as I mentioned earlier, they were getting piled up in my collection of rejected
Hmm.
stories. So I
Okay.
already
Okay.
had 4 to 5 such stories, and the others I wrote when I decided to bring them out in a book together. So the idea was always to have a minimum of 4 stories and a maximum of 12 stories. Initially, I wanted to bring out 12 stories, but I announced it release of the book while I was writing it, and then there was a time crunch, so I went ahead with only 8.
That's a good actually idea. That's a very good idea, Announce the date first, then you will have a deadline to meet. So actually that's a good thing. So
Yeah,
did the
and
publisher
somebody who's like me, who procrastinates a lot while writing, that was like a major push. I was like, I have already promised my readers I cannot go back on it now, so I have to release it anyway.
that's true. And I work on this manifestation programs. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to discuss this or not, but then the first rule of manifestation is to say it out loud. If you want something, so you need to say it out loud. So I think because it comes back to you, you hear it and you feel like, okay, I need to get it done because you have heard it. So maybe that worked in your case. So that's
Yes,
a good.
it did, yeah.
Does the publisher ever demanded that no, not 8, you have to give us more stories, or they were okay, like okay, let's go ahead with 8 stories, or
No, no,
there
they were.
was there in
Yeah, sorry, you were finishing the question. Please go ahead. Yeah.
was there any demand from the publisher's end
No, no, not
on the
nothing
number?
as such. Because actually, the ebook I self-published it on Amazon KDP, and
Okay.
then I got
Hmm.
a paper traditional deal for the paperback, and there were no
Hmm.
such
Hmm.
demands from their side. They wanted to publish it
Okay.
as it is.
Okay. That's really great because sometimes the publishers always end up interfering either with the title of the book or with the number of stories or the genre. Uh, Another question that pops up in my mind is that 8 stories from 8 different genres. It has mystery, thriller, horror, romance, whatnot. Is there any particular genre which you have not covered in this book and you would like to explore in the future?
Yes, in the future, I want to write a murder mystery, and because that's very
Ah,
challenging, and that's something I have never done in any short story before.
right,
Neither
right.
long form, neither in poetry, neither in micro tales. So that's something I really
Okay.
want to explore.
Okay. So murder mystery, something that we need to look out for. Okay,
Yes.
great. So 8 stories, 8 short stories. I'm coming back to 8 short stories. The Art of Being Grateful and other stories. So what extent of research you had to do to come up with these stories? Like did they just pop to you from maybe different uh, everyday activities, or was there anything that you decided that okay, so I want to write on this, I'll go and research, I'll read and come back?
So one of the stories, the last story in the book, at least, which is titled "No Witnesses," it's a thriller and suspense story. For that, I needed a lot of research because it talks about a father-son relationship, which is very complicated, and
Hmm.
there is a certain amount of suspense involved in it. There is a particular event which impacted a lot of lives, which has been talked about in that story, and how it affected the lives of the two protagonists is also there. So I had to
Hmm.
sit down and research for about 2 hours and find out a particular event which I could incorporate into the story and justify the actions of the two protagonists, why they did what they did. So I think that was the most research I did for the 8 stories. The others are inspired more or less from my own experiences or somebody who shared their experience with me.
Hmm. 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 Does this happen like someone is sharing their stories and you are like thinking like, हाँ मैं लिख सकती हूँ, I can try. Okay, this is common.
Yes.
And what is your family or your husband's reaction? I am not sure if you're married, but what's your close one's reaction to your books?
I'm going to be very honest with you, Andra. Most of the people who are close to me, they don't read my work, and that's very
Oh,
heartbreaking.
why so?
I don't know. I have no idea. My husband reads. Thankfully, he has
Okay.
started reading what I write now. But when I met him 5 years ago, he was not someone who reads very voraciously. Although thinking when somebody looks at me and thinks that, she has married an engineer, that would be like, no, you should have, you are probably married to a writer or somebody who reads at least. But my husband is, very, very different from me. He doesn't read at all. Yeah, so
Okay.
Sid is saying that you should read the dedication page, because all my dedication page
Yeah,
about my husband and how he doesn't read my work.
yeah. So that's Sid reviews is like he has captured it correctly. So that's great. I have always wondered how the family reacts to writers' written book, whether they think that okay, I'll
So
read this book, and then they realize like she has so many material inside her brain, like this kind of things. Like I cannot
I'll tell
comprehend that
you,
she can write
I'll tell
something
you one
like that.
thing, which I appreciate about my friends and family very much. Even though they don't read, they will at least buy the book, and they will at least, let the people in their circle know that, Manali has released a new book or Manali has written a new blog. That's as far as their support goes, and which is very good, because somebody in their circle might be interested. So that's great. I don't ask for anything else. You buy the book, you tell in your circle, that's it.
That's absolutely all right. And if you are getting bored sitting home, then please do pick it up and read it as well. Like I think short stories collections are the best way to start reading with. You can finish a story and move on to a next story
Yes.
immediately. So I really like anthologies. Even while watching series, I always prefer anthologies. It actually you can end one story and then move on to the other, and it gives a sense of accomplishment as well. So that's great. Moving to next question, I think, which is very unfair, but then I will ask you, if I may, which story is most closest to your heart out of all these eight stories?
Oh my God, that's a very difficult one. And it's been
It's
a
like
while since
choosing
I
a
wrote
baby.
it. So let me just, go through the titles, then I'll remember. It's been a while since I picked this book, and I actually had to hunt it down before the session today. Uh, oh yeah. So I think my favorite is A Fairy Tale Christmas, because it has a, very fantasy kind of thing in
Okay.
it, and also the first
Hmm.
time that I wrote such a story, I touched on
Hmm.
that genre. So, and there's something very sweet about that story. It, helps you believe in magic, even though it doesn't
Hmm.
exist.
Miracles.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
Right.
helps you
Hmm.
believe in miracles, and there's a certain innocence to it which inspires you.
That's great. I think um, miracles and hope are what all we need at this
Yeah.
moment of time, right? So that's lovely. Do you want to read out a few lines for us, or
Yes,
we
sure,
should
sure.
move to next? Okay, all right, great.
I will read it out. So I will read the poem which follows the titular story.
Yes.
So one of the stories in the book is titled "The Art of Being Grateful," which is the title of the book, "The Art of Being
Hmm.
Grateful and Other Stories." So I'm going to read the poem, which is about 5 to 6 lines. I'm not very good at reading, so I'm just putting out a disclaimer out there. Don't judge my reading skills and my writing skills together. They're completely different.
Don't worry about it.
So it goes something like this: having everything or having nothing doesn't matter. Wanting for more never stops. Would you rather grumble about what you don't have, or would you be grateful about what you already have? The outcomes of our actions are not in our control. Giving it our best is all we can do. If it turns out well, we grow. If it turns out not so well, we learn. In both scenarios, the key is to be grateful for the opportunity to grow or learn, and then ultimately move on.
Great. That's actually such a very strong message. We always There is always a key takeout, right? Key takeaway from every incident, every experience. And that's truly said. I think being grateful, that is also something that needs a lot of practice and lot of um, mindfulness. I don't think it comes very naturally.
Yeah, and
So,
it makes you humble. I think your experiences make you humble. Rather, I should say
hmm.
the experiences of getting making mistakes or getting rejected, they make you humble. They make you realize that you are
Hmm.
not, they up there where you think you are.
Ask me about getting rejected. Like I'm getting rejected by like any guy I approach, he rejects me. So I know I'm a rejection queen. So I know how rejection is. So you can ask me about it. So I learn every time I learn from that rejection. So jokes apart, I think I'm going to take this moment to welcome all our viewers, all our friends, and say hi to them. I'm also going to let everyone know that a very few limited copies of The Art of Being Grateful and other stories are available in our online bookstore as well. So all you need to do is visit our online bookstore, www.mysecretbookshelf.co.in. The link is given on our Instagram bio. So you just click on it and you can search for this book and grab yourselves a copy. We have as I said, we have very limited editions, very limited number of this book with us. So moving
You
on
forgot to mention
to
you have signed
yes,
copies.
yes, absolutely. We have signed copies of this book. So it's a beautiful cover with 8 short stories. So do not let this opportunity go away. So go and grab a copy for yourself. Um, we are still delivering, so it's a good thing before
Okay.
everything gets shut down. So, so moving on to our session, Manali. I want to know more about your other books. I know you have published 4 books and you have co-authored 2 more books. So we discussed about the art of being grateful and other stories. So there are 3 more books. I think the first one was A Rustic Mind, and then The Untold Stories, and then the latest one is Love Triangle. So would you like to share more about these books?
So my debut book was A Rustic Mind, and if
Okay.
you've noticed, that's also my pen name, which goes across all social media platforms. I am by
Right,
the
right.
name of Rustic Mind. My website is called arusticmind.com, and A Rustic Mind is my Instagram handle, my Facebook page, and also my handle on Medium. So A
Okay.
Rustic Mind is a collection of poems. They are about
Okay.
yeah, they are about 32 poems, and again, I am a person who believes in giving out maximum possible in one single thing. So they are again of various genres. So
Hmm.
these are very slice of life poems. They are about everyday incidents, which can be as simple as coming across a stream of water, or something as grave as somebody who has gone through a miscarriage, and somebody who has faced a rape. And those are the kind of strong messages which are
Hmm.
conveyed in the poems. So I suggest, if you are into poetry, I suggest you give it a read, because it is very thought provoking. Then I
Sure.
have The Untold Stories, which again has a very beautiful cover.
Yes.
So, Untold Stories is a collection of micro tales, and there are 131 micro tales again of various genres. For those of you who are not aware of what micro tales are, they are very short stories which are told in about 5 to 6 sentences, not more than half a page. And these are, as I mentioned, 131 micro tales of various genres. That book has been an Amazon bestseller at one point, and it's been widely appreciated all over the world, not just India. That particular book has been read by people all over the world and has been very much
Wow.
appreciated. Then I have Love Triangle, which was a recent release. I released it
Hmm.
on Women's Day, which was 8th March. It's been almost about 2 months, approximately 2 months since
Hmm.
it's released, and it's my debut novel. I have ventured into long form writing for the first time, and the genre is no marks for guessing. It's the romance genre, because it's an easy bet, and because also I believe that I write humor the best, and so it's a romantic comedy and contemporary romance which has one girl and 2 boys. Before you think it's student of the year, it's not what you think it is. because all the three characters are very strong and they are very clear about their priorities in life. And love is not something which is a priority for them. Despite that, they give it a chance, and what happens then? That's what the book is all about. Besides these solo books, I have also been a part of two co-authored books, anthologies, again, a collection of short stories. One of them is this, 10 Tales, and
Hmm.
this one has 10 short stories from writers across the world. And that's me here. See? My story in this book is called I'm Glad I'm Not Beautiful, and it talks about a girl who has a traumatic experience one day. They are both teenage girls. While returning home from school one day, one of them gets attacked by a boy who is very much of the belief that he's in love with her. And what happens after that traumatic accident, traumatic events, what unfolds is all what the story is all about. Then we
Hmm.
have this is a collection of three short stories by writers from India itself. And that's me here. Now, this book is the most special for me because the story in this book, The Walls Have Ears, my story, it's titled The Walls Have Ears, and it helped me bag the best short story award in 2019. It revolves around a young girl called Simran who ventures out into Kamatipura. For those of you who don't know what Kamatipura is, it's the red light area district in Mumbai, very famous, very infamous rather, and what she learns during her escapade there.
Hmm.
So that's about it. Oh my god,
Nice.
I don't think I have talked about my book so much in a while.
But then each and every topic content is such interesting and such intriguing. It make me, at least I'm feeling like I need to go through, I need to read those out, because even if you are saying that love triangle is a romance, I had an earlier discussion today with one of my friends, and she has read your book, and she was like, um, it's not something related to engineering boys, engineering college. It's very different, even though it's a romance, and she loved it. In fact, she has just sent a comment also that she has loved it. So I think these are very unconventional topics, and why I think I want to um, work with you or get associated with you is because each and every story is very unique, and they are very thoughtful. They are not very conventional. You put a lot of thought and lot of your mind into each of these stories. It's not something like just doing it for the sake of getting it done. So
So
that's
I
really good.
actually make it a point to make my stories as realistic as possible, as inspired from real life as possible, so that people can connect easily to it. My characters also, if
Mhm.
uh, somebody reads them, they will immediately feel that either it's them that I'm talking about, or it's about somebody they know.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. That's true. That's true. There was one comment that was shared by Seed Reviews. Do you prefer writing a single genre, or do you like to mix and match genres?
So if I'm writing an anthology, then I definitely want to mix and write. But if I'm writing a novel, I have only written one novel, so I can only talk based on my experience related to that. Then I'm sticking to one genre. But I am definitely someone who wants to mix and match.
What about a single story? Like a single story mixing different genres, or a single story, single genre?
No, I think even in that I would like to mix because
Hmm.
as I mentioned earlier, I am someone who believes in giving, more and less. So if you're,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, the
Right, right, right,
a single serving, if you're able to serve more, then
right,
that's
right.
the
Why
kind
not?
of, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Uh, Manali, since now you have published so many books, do you think that learning or understanding the process of getting published has influenced or has impacted your writing process, writing style in any manner, or do you still write the way you used to write? at the beginning?
That's an interesting question, Antara. Since the time I started writing, so I have been writing poetry since I was a teenager. And yes, initially as a teenager, as someone who was very naive and,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, chaka chand wali dunya. I want to get published. I want to get famous. That was kind of the aim when I started writing. And but as you age, you become humble. You realize that there's not as much glamour to it as you thought it would be. So over the
Right, right.
over the years, through my experience and also through people who have spoken to me and humbled me down, because I realized that the writing industry is also very huge. It's not I am not somebody great. There are better writers than me, more experienced writers than me out there. So that has made me realize that if I am writing, my ultimate aim should not be of publishing. My ultimate aim should be of writing content which is good.
Hmm. But I think writing industry or the literary field is still glamorous, and you are a good writer, one of the good writers I have come across in the recent time. So it's just that you are being humble, and I think with maturity, with age, with experience, we tend to humble down. So I think that is all that is talking about. But then I think it's good that the process has not influenced your writing style in any way. Otherwise, there are many people who get influenced, who get bugged down by the process of getting published, and they start writing in that manner so that they can get accepted, the manuscript can get accepted. It's really great.
So
And
I'm
related.
actually glad that with the initial few years of my writing itself, I learned that your aim should not be of publishing. Your aim should be on the your focus should be on the content, not on
Hmm.
the end result.
That's true. That's true. And so there is someone who said that, well said, ma'am. I think that glitter,
I think that's Gayatri. Thank you,
glitter
Gayatri.
with books. Okay, okay. So, Manali, do you read? I'm hoping that you are a very avid, one of the avid readers. So, are you reading anything currently? What do you prefer reading?
I prefer, so in the last 1 year, I have started reading a lot of indie writers like myself who are not represented by big houses. And it's
Hmm.
been good because it has made me realize that unlike, like me, not actually unlike
Hmm.
me, like me, there are so many talented writers out there who need people to
Absolutely.
speak about them, who need people to promote their work.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
since the past year, 1 year, I have consciously tried to pick up books which are not very popular.
That's true. So, what are you reading currently? Any one book? Any
Yes,
one
yes.
name
I'm
that?
actually reading a fellow author's book. He's called Gautam Aikar, and I am
Okay.
reading his book titled Stone, which I think just came out last week.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do, Manali, after our session is over, is I'm going to share about your all your books, and I'm also going to share about your current read, so that if any one of our friends want to revisit, they can do that over our storyboard. So I'll do that. So I think with that, almost we have come to the end of our session. But before I say goodbye to you, would you like to share a sneak peek of your upcoming project, anything that you are working on next?
So I have actually been working on a non-fiction book since quite some time now. I'm actually in the process of talking to a few publishing houses and selecting one of them. And
Hmm.
I still don't know what the book will be titled, but it will be around inspiring women. I am writing about a book about stories of women who are doing more than one profession. Somebody who might be doing a full-time job alongside running a blog, or doing a full-time job alongside baking or something like that.
Hmm. Right, right, right.
Because such women, they inspire me so much, because I am someone who is very overwhelmed just by the aspect of writing. एक ही चीज
Hmm.
करनी है, वो
Hmm.
भी मुझे इतना लगता है कि यार बहुत
Exactly.
बहुत ज्यादा है. So how are
And these
these
ladies are
women
juggling,
doing
right?
so many things? And professionally, it's not just a hobby. They are doing more than one thing professionally and doing it quite
Hmm.
well. So yeah, that's what the book is going to be about.
So are you interviewing people? Are you interviewing ladies for this? And
Yes,
okay,
yes,
you have already started doing.
yes.
And by when can we expect this book to be out in
The
the market?
target was March 2021, but I am hoping by December 2021.
Okay, all right. So December 2021, next book, something interesting we are going to read from Manali. So all my best wishes to you, Manali, and to all of your books, especially to the art of being grateful and other stories because it's with me, and also to your upcoming books. I really wish you do well, you write well, you continue writing well that you have been doing so far. Continue motivating and inspiring other writers, other young writers that you have been doing so far. So thank you so much
Thank
from
you
my
so much,
side.
Andra. Thank you for inviting me, and it was such an interesting talk. I haven't spoken to
Absolutely,
you in a
absolutely.
long time about my books. So thank you for having me and asking such interesting questions. Yeah,
Thank you so much. It was indeed an interesting piece of discussion tonight.
yeah.
So thank you so much. Take care and have a lovely week ahead.
Thank you so much. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night. So, people, that was Manali Desai, the author of The Art of Being Grateful and Other Stories. Limited editions of signed copies, author signed copies of this book is available on our online bookstore. You can visit us at www.mysecretbookshelf.co.in. The link is also given on our Instagram bio. So you just click it and search for this book, you will get it. And we are also offering discounts. So don't let this opportunity go by. Grab yourselves a copy. Next Sunday, I'll be back with another guest, probably at 12 noon. Till then, take care. Happy reading. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye.